Hello, and I am back. If you haven't already seen, I have just posted an astrology video teaching you how to navigate your chart, plus just frothing on astrology for an hour. So, because Mercury is conjunct Jupiter today, I'm in full teaching mode and ticking some stuff off my list of to-dos that I've had sitting in my journal every single year for the last few years. I wanted to do a little numerology video, which is what I'm going to do now. And then the one I previously just uploaded on my YouTube channel is the little astrology natal chart class 101, just to navigate the chart, just little bits, 1 hour of astrology is like a micro millisecond of astrology. The numerology is such a potent part of something else that I've also been a numerology nerd since I was a young girl. So being born on the 9th just sort of had this thing for me. I was just like, nine, I'm something about nine. And I'm a 33 master number life path as well. So I just wanted to jump on really quickly. There's no videos or slideshows or anything like that. I'm not as fancy as all those people who do great workshops with all the slideshows and things like that. I just get on, I talk, I deliver the message, bye-bye now. So I just wanted to jump in and say how important it is to work with your own personal year numerology cycle. So just like astrologically, we have certain years that there are different themes that are more active from birthday to birthday. I work with numerology from the January the 1st through till December the 31st. That makes sense to me because the year that we're in has a numerology energy. So once we move through to another year, that energy changes. So it makes sense that we, really work with the numbers of the year that we're in. And that's just how I've always done it. And that's if you watch my last video just recently, I'm all about simplicity. And from January the 1st to December the 31st, 2023, that collective energy is 7. Once we move into 2024, that changes to 8. So that changes the full dynamic of the numerology. So it's just logical to me that our personal year is the beginning of the year when the numerology collectively changes. So I'm going to use 2023 as an example just to help you to find your own personal year. Now, your personal year is based on your date of birth, as in day and month, and then the year that we're in. So I've done a little, as I prepared earlier, if you can see it. Yes. So you can't see my face, and I'm assuming that this isn't backwards, even though it is to me. Hopefully it isn't. Maybe it is. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe it is. So ultimately what you're doing is across, you are adding up your date of birth. So I'm born on the 9th of May, the 9th of the 5th, and then adding 2023. That gives me 21, which I then calculate. 2 plus 1 equals 3. So you want to get to a single digit. Ultimately, for your personal years, you want to get to a single digit. The personal year cycle is a cycle I've been working with since before I was 20. It is quite amazing with the energy that comes up in the personal year cycles because it is based on your birthday, right? So collectively, the energy changes every year. So I just showed you that I'm in a personal, there we go, 3 year. So of course, when 2024 hits, I'll be in that personal 4 year. And I can't even tell you that all I have done since January the 1st is learn, absorb, it's just been, a personal 3 year is very much around networking, communication, studying, I'm getting masterclasses organized, and just it's such a year of mental capacity. It's such a year of communication. It's such a year of social connection. And so when the year clicks over to the next year, so 2024, I will move into my personal 4 year, and you feel the energy difference. And especially if you're intuitive and if you're aware of your surroundings and if you're aligned cosmically, your personal year can help you navigate some pretty remarkable achievements or goals or successes, or to know when it's an air, to know when it's a yin or a yang. Ultimately, everything that I do comes down to me, the solid foundation of self. So I'm never seeking outside of myself for answers. I go within, the astrology, the universe, the trees, the energetics of numbers, of course, the planets, animals, totems, all of those things that hold such high frequency that are not tainted, gives so much cosmic insight and helps us to align and navigate our life, just with ease and with grace and with deep understanding. And some of the examples I have are pretty mind-blowing when it comes to loss. Of course, you could lose or go through grief in any personal year, but I've witnessed and watched, full families in full 7-year cycles going through loss at the same personal year. Like, it's literally mind-blowing when you have a look at your family's life path number or just their personal year number. So the life path number is your whole date of birth. So for me, I'm born on the 9th of the 5th, 1981. So that's a whole different story. I'm a 33-6 master number. That's my life path. But the personal years, when you add up the personal years, like my husband and his 2 sisters are all in the same personal year. And I just find that mind-blowing, especially considering all they've been through, and the incredible alignment of the personal year for them with stuff that they've been through. Like, can't make this shit up. What we are looking at today is the personal year cycle. So it is the year that we are in, 2023, with your day and month of birth. Adding it all in one straight line, you're going to get a number. It could already be a single digit, maybe, depending on your birthday. But if it's not a single digit, you can bring it down to one single digit like I have here, because all of this added up to 21. 2 and 1 is 3. I'm in a personal 3 year. Yes, you could be in a personal 22 year, a personal 11 year. These are master numbers. And for me, you still want to look at the personal 2 year. So if you're in a master number 11, yes, there's more of an amplification of manifestation, and you are having that master experience, but also look at the 2. The 2 becomes amplified for you because it's the master number 11. Same with 2020, same with 22. If it comes to 22, which for me, obviously next year for me, I'm a 22-4. So the 2 and the 2 are going to be very amplified in a way of that 4 energy, but coming back to that master number. Yeah. But when you're looking at personal years, it's just nice to look at the single digit to get that overall feel for what to do that year. And, the best thing to sort of look at in the personal years is sort of like a flower bed from 1 to 9. So there are 9 years in a personal year. Once we hit 9, we move back to 1 again. So it's a cycle. It's like a birth, death, it's a birth, rebirth, and death cycle ultimately. The personal 1 year is all about seeding. And then we move to the personal 8 years later. That's all about the growth and abundance. And then the personal 9 is the death, the letting go, the release. So ultimately, if you have my 2023 energy survival kit, I have all of these personal numbers already in there. I also have, these are sold out, but there is the digital version. So you can always jump on my website, tiani.com.au, and go and pick up the digital version, which you can print or not print. You can just have it on your computer, which works fine too. So ultimately, you want to find out your personal year, and then you just keep adding 1 every year. 2024, I'm a 4, 2025, I'm a 5, so on and so forth, right up until I'm in a personal 9 year, and then I go back to a personal 1. So I just want to give like a little brief lowdown on each of the personal years, just so that you can tune into the energy. I do want to say that I have a little highlight reel on my Instagram, Tiani Talks. I do only have 1 Instagram, just so you know, because yes, the scam accounts are still there, and you will always see that it's spelled wrong. So you can head over there and there's a highlight reel. I think I did it for last year or the year before, but it's still the same concept. It's still the same premise, right? So I've just given some little tips and tricks around your personal years. In this personal year booklet that I have, I've given a chakra, a tarot card, and a planet to connect into those personal years as well. And again, like I was working with personal numerology years before astrology perfected years. So astrology perfections are a birthday to birthday. And that's a traditional astrology timing tool, which I absolutely love. And that's a big part of what I, share in readings and things like that. But I didn't know that because I'm not a traditional astrologer. It's not something that I've practiced for 20 years. But numerology personal years, 20 years plus. So knowing the energy of the year that you're in is such an important tool to be able to navigate that. So you're not trying to square peg round hole stuff. So you know when it's maybe a year that you need to gather, when you need to sit back, where you need to, come within. For me, I'm in a personal 3 this year already. This is my second video just today. Yes, Mercury and Jupiter are conjunct, but it's my second video already. I've already done all of this stuff this year when it comes to teaching and stuff. I've done master classes. I'm, in my containers and I'm doing all the things. I'm guest speaking and things. I've gone up the coast and spoke at a festival. Like, it's all been around talking because I'm in a personal 3 year. My birthday isn't until May. And so I'm living my personal 3 year as soon as January 1 opens up, because it's a 7 year. We're in this collective 7. And for me, it's a personal 3. So this is a real yang year for me, where there'll be a lot of teaching, a lot of writing, a lot of talking, a lot of learning, a lot of study. I'll be doing a lot of that this year. And then I move into my personal 4 year in 2024. And ultimately, that's much more of a yin year. That's a year of internal reflection, coming back home to your body, consolidation. So I'm going to go through all of these, but you're going to have these yang and yin energies. And for me, just as a general sort of thing, you can look at 1 and 9 are out on their own. So a personal 1 and a personal 9 year, I always talk about as this sort of infinity symbol. We can't really let go of anything else and welcome something in new until we've let go of something. So it's all around doors closing and doors opening. So the 9 and the 1 really encompass sort of, it's 2 years of release and surrender and clearing the decks as you start to plant new seeds. And the 1 can feel slow, and again, you're still releasing things. So the 1 and the 9 hold their own special energy, whereas 2, 4, and 6, they are the more yin. They are yin energy, yin numbers. So they are the more internal, soft, connected. And the 3, 5, and 7 years are the more yang, dynamic, ultimately lots of changes and shifts and chatty. And, even when you look at 3, 5, and 7, those odd numbers, there's this element 2, 4, 6, 8. I forgot 8. So 2, 4, 6, 8. So the even numbers have this more yin quality to them, and the odd numbers 3, 5, and 7, because we're not working with the 1 or the 9, have this more erratic sort of energy to them. There's quite a yang energy. Like, there's a lot of doing that's happening. And even when you look at the numbers 3, 5, and 7, they're very like, like there's something about them. So ultimately, I've put planets to the numbers that I just tuned into. There are tarot cards for the numbers as well that I've added in my book. And yeah, it's a great little thing that you can have always. So I was doing personal numerology cycles well before I was doing the timing tool of perfected years, or even solar return charts, right? I probably started solar return charts at around 20, but I've been doing my personal years for a few years before that. Because again, I've been into numerology since I was like just 9, 10 years old. And, realistically, the personal years when you're younger don't seem as significant because you're more led by your environment, your parents, what's going on in your family. You can see a lot of that stuff in your natal chart, but you could probably still relate it to, to what's going on in your personal year as well. Anyway, enough rambling today. I've talked so much today. And I just want to get through this so that you all have a little bit of just a few key words, a bit of an understanding on the way we build. Because remember, nothing's just set like, oh, you're in a 4-year with the 3 not there and the 5 not there. Everything's a build. And one of my favorite quotes is, a Toyota is built in 7 weeks, but a Rolls Royce in 7 months. And you don't plant the seed and reap the fruit the next day. So it's important in your personal year cycle that you build what you're growing. Like this is about, sustainability. This is about moving forward and anchoring in a solid foundation, as opposed to just erratically going, oh, I'm in this year, so I'll do this. It's like, no, but what did you start in your personal 1 year? What did you release in your personal 9 year? If you're still holding on to 9 years in your 30s, 9 years in your 20s, like, it's that same shit, different day sort of stuff, We are living a brand new day every day, and we have a brand new life to live every single day as well. I don't want to take away from that. I'm not saying that in a personal 5-year you should or shouldn't do something. Absolutely not. We can do anything at any time. We have free choice and will. But what we can do is harness the energy of the numbers to help us push through certain things, or to know when we do need to step back. So the building and the foundation of course, is the personal 1. But we have to have done that personal 9 really well as well, because it's sort of same shit, different year, right? Like same shit, different year. So unless you're really releasing in that personal 9 year consciously, even unconsciously, it happens. Often I talk to people about their numerology and they're like, oh my God, like I quit my job, or I moved, or, I divorced my husband, or whatever, in these more dramatic personal years for them. And then, personal 1, beginning again, so on and so forth. So the personal 1 year is, of course, the slate, the clean slate, the concrete slab, the concrete going into the slab. What do you want to set up for the next 9 years? Yeah, like what are you seeding? This is a time of, again, how deep into Mama Earth are you planting that seed? Because if you plant it shallow, yeah, maybe you get a lot of growth over the first couple of years. But by the time you come to your 8 years of harvest and abundance, there's nothing really there, because it was built on sand, or it was built on illusion, or you didn't do the work. So the personal 1 year really asks you to lean into, what do you really want to set up for the next 8-9 year cycle? Because that's what it is. It's not a 1 year cycle, it's a 9 year cycle. So what do you want to bring into fruition? This is where you might start desiring new changes in your life. Anything from a new haircut, to a new house, to a new partner, to a new job, to a new set of habits. This is a year to honor yourself and to honor what's changing for you. So it's a year to be creative and independent. I'm reading some of my notes, because if I don't, I'll ramble on about each one for like 20 minutes each. And I don't want to do that for 9 numbers. You want to focus on yourself. You want to focus on this self-care and this self-love and this self-nurture and this self-foundation of what you are building for the next 9 years. Yeah. Do some soul searching. Be open to change. Because again, if you're still holding on to stuff in the personal 1 year, that 9 energy is still flowing through. Like I said, that 9 and the 1, it's sort of the never ending, never beginning. It's like a circle. We can't have one without the other. Yeah. So that's the personal 1. Get really grounded and rooted into the foundation of what you want to set up. And then we come into this personal 2 year, which is around growth. 2 people, companionship. You begin to water the seeds that you've planted. What do you want to grow? This is a year of growth, but gentle. 2 is the yin. It's soft, it's tender. Yeah. It's a great year to start meditating. And it's not a year to be screaming at your seeds if they haven't grown. We don't go and scream at the lemon tree if it doesn't produce lemons in 5 months. We water it, we nourish it, we love it. So that personal 2 year can be around, what are you nourishing? How are you nourishing your goals, yourself, your soul? How are you nourishing the seeds that you planted in this garden bed of your life for this cycle? How are you nourishing them from your personal 1 year? This is definitely around patience, I want to say. There is no need to force or push anything. Remember, we're in a yin energy, 2. Yeah, this is very much around the moon, the sacral chakra, your desires. What are you desiring? Mm? This is a great time to work on your intuition, and it's a great time to cooperate, to collaborate. Yeah, it's a great time for union, because there's 2 of you, companionship, and it's where your love and your nurturing goes into the seeds. So it's you and your goals, it's you and what you've planted. Yeah. So then the 3 year comes along, and it's all of a sudden it's yang again. It's like, okay, so we've been watering our garden and tending the soil and, really working in that energy for a year. And now the 3 year comes, and it's quite dynamic. It's quite yang. It's like, I want to learn more. I want to learn more about that seed that I planted over there 2 years ago. I've been watering it, but it's starting to sprout now. I'm like, I want to, what else is happening here? I want to talk. I want to communicate. I want to be social. I want to network. It's a year of learning. It's a year of high mental activity. It's a very social year, but it's also a fun year. Look at the seeds you've been planting. Notice what's popping up in that garden of you, in that garden of your future, and have some fun. Play. Don't take it too seriously. A 3 year is a great year to be light, to stay curious. Yeah, to stay expansive. What's happening here? What's growing in my life? What's coming up? What's working, right? Like, what's really working? Stay curious, be explorative, go on an adventure in your own journey, in your own backyard. So it's like, what's happening here? Sometimes a personal 3 year can have travel as well. You will feel like you want to be mentally stimulated. For some people, it's a year of study, deep study. Learning about different cultures, learning new language, everything to do with the tongue, darling. All of the talking. Hello, I'm in my personal 3 year. It's a year to, find joy in what you've planted, not having to be so serious. Yeah. The personal 4 year comes, and it's that yin again. We go back in, we ground, we anchor. Now things are starting to come up, the roots of what is going on. We've really, put some new fertilizer into the soil to go, no, that's rich over there, and those tomatoes need to grow with some new fertilizer and some new soil, or however that looks for you, in the way that the mind is fertile. Think of the personal 3 year as the mind is very fertile. And then we move into that personal 4 where we come back in, we yin. It's like, now, how good are the roots? How good is the root system of what you are building? Because we're pretty much, that's our halfway mark. Okay, so the 4 year is right in between the 1 and the 8. And the 8 is actually our harvest, not the 9. So it is 1 to 8. So the 4 is that center. Get centered, get balanced. Find the roots. How solid is the root system in what you are building? Are you building your life on sand, or are you building it on solid concrete? Yeah, it's a 4 year is a year to stay focused. It's a very productive year, but it's also a year of consolidation. Like, get everything in order, loves. Get everything organized, all ducks in a row. Clean out your office, clean out your home, clean out your Tupperware cupboard, because the 5 year comes along, which is dynamic change. Yeah. So the 4 year is the rest year, the year of, okay, I'm just going to go internal, be internal, clear out my space. It's a year of being very practical. It's a very big year on the body, like resting, rejuvenating, detoxing, big warm hug, massages, nurturing the body. Tune it up. It is a year of stability. It's a year of getting organized. It's a year of keeping your feet on the ground. staying grounded, staying anchored, staying focused to your vision and not swaying. Because if something's not working, you're going to see that when you start to consolidate, when you start to really look at what's going on. It's like, that's not really feeling right. It's okay, well, rip those roots up. Like, don't waste your time distracting yourself, being unproductive with something that's not aligning to you. You know, grow the roots of what's aligning to your soul. Be conscious of the truth. You know, everyone's very distracted by doing a million different things when it just takes them away from their truth and their purpose and what they should be working on. Yeah. The personal 5-year comes in like a fucking wrecking ball. Let's just pretend we're Miley Cyrus on that ball, because that is a personal 5-year. It is Uranus. It is expect the unexpected. It is I need freedom, because we've come from this yin 4 of consolidation. And it's confining in a good way if you are willing to feel not inhibited, but if you're willing to do the work and be quiet, go about your work quietly. Often a personal 4-year for me, I do a lot of work behind the scenes. I make sure that everything's nice and clear and ordered. And then the 5-year comes along, and I will still always talk about this. One of my clients who didn't really know astrology or learn about astrology or even believe astrology when she first started working with me. And I told her, you're in a personal 5-year from January of 2020, whenever it was. And she's like, oh, yeah, whatever. And I'm like, expect change and make sure that you've done the work in the 4-year, because in the 5-year, you can be very scattered with a lot of energy going in lots of different directions. But if you've anchored in well in the 4, the 5 is a real great flow of change, right? So within the January of her first personal 5-year, oh, not her first, but the one that she was conscious of for the first time, she was like, oh my God, so much has changed. Oh my God, oh my God. She just could not believe it. And I'm like, yes, darling, because you're in a personal 5-year, you know, it happened, it happens. So this is a big year of transformation, active changes, wanting freedom. You know, a year of a makeover, like just, I need change. So in the flower bed now, or in your garden, that's growing, it's just like, okay, what's not working over here? Let's move it over here. Oh, let's rip that out. Let's do this. Like, I want change. I want freedom. Oh, that stuff's feeling really confined. Where are you feeling oppressed? You're going to want to feel liberated in certain areas. You know, my mantra that I've been working with for a personal 5-year for forever is say yes to things you usually say no to, and no to things you usually say yes to. For me, my past 5, I think it was my last 5-year, which was, you know, 9 years ago-ish, getting close to, because I'm in a 3 now. So 7 years ago, or whatever, I moved away from a lot of friendship groups that I just wasn't aligning with anymore. Like I, you know, unfriended them, you know, no hard feelings. It's just that this isn't my trajectory. Like I don't want to be around these sorts of people. So in the 5-year, I said, no, I'm saying no to that invite. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm tending my own soul. I'm being free within myself. Also, you know, in saying no to things I usually say yes to and yes to things I usually say no to, I was offered 2 separate jobs within a week of each other. I said yes to both of them. And then 5 months later, I quit both of them. And this is just going back 7 years ago. One was at the Lightworkers Cottage, where I was doing 1 day a week, just doing readings and drummings and astrology and all the things in the beautiful, beautiful light space. And then the other day a week, I was working doing liquid crystal readings. Also, I was working at a crystal shop 1 day a week as well. So I worked at a crystal shop for a long time. So I said yes to both of those experiences just because I knew I had to experience something different in my cauldron, my new foundation. It needed something different to stimulate it. And whether it was like, is this going to continue forward, or are you just going to try that and that's not actually going to go with you further? So the year of 5 is trying new things. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because routine and mundane can make you feel very restless. You don't want to do the same thing. Yeah. You want flexibility in a 5-year. Yeah. And you will feel really frustrated and inhibited in a 5 if you can't, you know, make some changes. Again, travel is, you know, is a big thing in a 5-year as well. So yes, you know, for some people, this is actually a time where they want to go within and make changes, that they want to tap into their own emotional connections. Like, are you emotionally free, or do you feel emotionally inhibited? It's all about freedom and change in the personal 5. just have a look at 2021, baby. You know, just remember this can relate to, you know, this is like the collective energy as well. Then the personal 6 comes, it's yin again. We move from that dynamic outward yang energy of Uranus and disruption and change and creativity and wanting something new and saying yes to something new, which is great, like getting a little bit uncomfortable in that personal 5 year. And then the 6 year comes in and we dip back into self, soul. The 6 is, of course, the Lover's card. It's also the card ruled by Venus. The 6th chakra, the third eye, you know, where the relationship with yourself and with others becomes really important. We go within again in that 6 year. It's another, you know, even number. Yeah. So the 6 is really much around relationships, home, like working from home, redecorating the home. Maybe you move, relationship stuff, you know. It can be, you know, I see a lot of marriage breakups in a 6 year. I see a lot of beautiful marriages in a 6 year. You know, the 6 year is one of the best years to get married. It was the year that I got married. It was my personal 6 year and my husband's personal 4 year. So we got married in those really solid yin personal cycles for ourselves. The personal 6 is, of course, the best year when it comes to numbers and Venus and the lovers and all those sorts of things. So it's a beautiful year to get married, but I do see a lot of relationship hardship because what you're doing is you're reevaluating your relationships. You're reevaluating your values, your sense of self-worth, you know. We're really sort of tuning into that Venusian energy. It's the 6 is finding that balance and that harmony within what you're tending to. So you've had all of that 5 dynamic energy, and then the 6 comes along and it's like, right, you're about, this crop's about to flourish in the next couple of years. So give it some love. Make sure that it's in alignment with your values. Make sure it's in alignment and feeling in flow and harmony. You know, are the tomatoes and basil growing together? Yes, they are. And that's a dynamic combination. You know, you're looking at this foundation, which is your garden, and the 6 comes in and wants the love, wants the nurture, especially after the erratic 5. Yeah. So this year is, you know, one of, you know, I've just said all about relationships, renewing them, making them and letting them go, deep around connection, music, balance, finding your own rhythm, connecting in with family, giving, sharing, flowing. And again, how does that work within not only your life, but within the goals that you set in that personal 1 year? Are you loving on them still? Are you in alignment with them? Are they still a part of your core values? Yeah, because then the 7 year comes along, and that is, by Ian White's words, the Mack truck year. Back in my 20s, I was a bushflower practitioner. I mean, I still am a qualified bushflower practitioner, but in my 20s, I did bushflower and I did lots of like spiritual alchemy stuff, all with Ian White. If you know him, he is just a fucking joy of a human. And I did a big like numerology day with him. And he calls the 7 year the Mack truck year. Because if you aren't in alignment, it will feel like you have been hit by a Mack truck. Hello, 2023, right? 2023 is a collective 7. And if you haven't already checked out my 2023 astrology panel, one of my very dear friends, who is the numbers queen, by the way, Sarah Yip, we talk about the collective 7 year. Oh my God, if you're in a personal 7 year, even if you are like a numerology 7, like born on the 7th, or your life path is a 7, so your whole birth date, month, and year is a 7, go and check out that conversation between me and Sarah. Sarah is amazing. She's just as much as a numerology nerd as me, and she's got so much great information. I absolutely love talking to her. You know, the 7 year comes in after that 6 year, and it's like, so this is what it's all about. This is about spiritual discernment. You know, my whole 2023 kit, obviously, because it's the 7 year. I mean, I've talked about it being the year of shadow walking, silence, and magic. And that is all very 7. 7 is the year of shh. It's the year of truth. It's the year of going inside and finding your own truth. And so in that garden bed, in what you've been creating, the 7 year comes just before you reap the harvest, which is the 8. And it's like that little cartoon where he's going and he's going and he's going and he's going. And the diamond is right there, but he turns around. That's the 7. The 7 is, are you going to keep going or are you going to give up and turn around? But even, are you in alignment, right? Like, are you in alignment with what's going on? Because a 7-year is a Mack truck. I know so many people who have lost loved ones, cancer, being diagnosed with cancer, like so much in a personal 7-year. Now, I do want to just preface and say that a 6, ultimately a 6-year can, as much as it's yin and beautiful, I've found, myself included, a few stories around that personal 6-year where there's been a bit of a, like something's happened. So I got married in my personal 6-year, but just months before I got married, I was in a very serious car accident. And yeah, hit at 100 kilometers an hour, physio for a year, you know, just wanted to walk down the aisle. And I was at home, like I had to stay home. I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything. So it very much lined up with being at home. But it's like, oh, but 6 is love and joy and things like that. But it's like, yeah, it taught me so much more. You know, it was such a compassionate year for me. But it was really interesting because I had the 6-year, and literally as the car hit me, you know, I had God come in and talk to me and say some stuff in a very stern voice for me to get into alignment. You know, this was going back, me and my husband have been, what are we now? 10 is, oh, that's right, we're 15 years. So this is going back 15 years ago when I was in a personal 6-year, 15 years ago, because me and my husband are married for 15 years in November. And you know, it helped me in my 7-year. So I do want to say that and I have heard this from other people too, that they had a pretty intense 6-year. But for me, it feels like the lube of the 7-year, because I don't know, if you're not really waking up in the 6-year, and this is not always, you know, this can be, you know, the 6 could be purely just about love and relationships and, you know, finding that magic within what you're growing and tending to. And, you know, the 7-year is around pure alignment, like being introspective. And that's why, you know, I've pretty much coined 2023. Obviously, you could be watching this in 2030. Who knows? It'll be out here forever. But, you know, I've coined 2023 the year to shut the fuck up. Like literally just, I mean, as I'm speaking and won't shut up, but it literally, but, you know, but all of the white noise, because it's a year of coming in, challenging your old beliefs, just using your discernment, waking you up to truth, learning lessons. And I've already said that the 7 is, you know, if you're a victim and you're wading in old stories, the poor me, a 7-year is very difficult for you. And we're seeing that collectively already. You know, I see it a lot with clients or out in socials, you know, people are like still in this victim story, you know, ruminating and recycling old stuff. This year, it's only March now, but this year will be very difficult for them because again, they're not learning the lessons. And that's what a big 7 energy is around big spiritual lessons. And if you're not learning them, it's sort of like they will keep coming, they will keep coming, they will keep coming. That's why it's the wake up call year. And for some people, it is a tragic wake up call. It is cancer, or it is something, losing their job or something like that, that they thought that they were going to do forever. But it's about cosmic realignment, you know. So when you're in, like I've had a few personal 7 years, you know, over these past years, and they've been amazing. So I'm not, you know, building up any sort of fear here. There is nothing ever to fear with numerology, astrology, anything like that. And if you're fearing something, you've got to check in with yourself where that's coming from, because it's just about understanding. It's about truth, you know, and there's so much mollycoddling, never say anything negative. And it's like, well, let's just all be honest. Being a human is fucking brutal, but it's also very beautiful. And we want to know the dark and the light. Like living in a facade of just hopes and dreams and only ever speaking positively, that doesn't work. That's not reality. And a 7-year is about reality. And you will know that. If you are in a personal 7-year, look around at 2023 already. We're only 3 months in, and it is massive. Like it is a massive year. So this 7-year is very, you know, I want to use those words that I've just read here in what I've written: self-inquiry. What do you want to change? Explore yourself, reflect, don't force things. This is a time of soul evolution. A personal 7-year is a very exciting one. It's very transformational. It's very transmutational. Yeah. I sort of put the planet Pluto to the personal 7-year, which is sort of like adapt or die. You know, if we're not adapting, we can't live in the new environment. So Pluto changes, and he changes everything, yes, over a collective lot of years, but if we're not adapting to that, we die. You know, we are dismissed. That doesn't, we cannot keep up staying in the old ways. Yeah. So 7 years, a big one. Personal 8-year is the harvest. Just look at the 8. It's the infinity sign. It's abundance. Here is you reap what you sow. So I've done a video similar to this. I think maybe on my, like, I don't know, maybe it was YouTube but I did readings and stuff on it. So that's why I wanted to do a new one purely just devoted to personal numerology. And I had people going, oh, my personal 8-year's been shit. Like, I haven't gotten pay rises. I haven't gotten money, because personal 8-year is about abundance. But we've also got to remember the word abundance doesn't just mean money. Abundance is you get what you give. And so my answer to them is that, yes, I've delivered the personal 8-year message, but I wasn't the one who sowed the seed back in my personal 1 year. Whatever you sow, you will reap. That's reality. That is reality. Whatever you sow and work on, you will reap. So when the harvest comes, the 7-year has shaken up everything there. You're looking at like, oh, this is prosperous and this is amazing, and you're still just really working with these goals or what successes or whatever you're building in this year, in this personal cycle of yours, this whole personal cycle. And wherever you're reading this, you might be at the end of your personal cycle. You might be at of your personal 9 cycle. You might be right in the middle. But it's a time to reflect back, especially if you haven't worked with numerology before, and you want to go back. Well, what was happening in that personal 1 year? How did I tend that in my personal 2? How did I expand and grow that in my personal 3? How did I reflect and consolidate in my personal 4? How did I change and invent and bring freedom in my personal 5? How did I love on and connect in my personal 6? How did I be discerning and spiritually transform in my personal 7? Because now the personal 8 hits and you get what you sow. So if there has been out of alignment, integrity, whatever your life is built upon, you will reap those benefits or not. And so I sort of say it like the apples are now on the tree. So just working with an apple tree here in the orchard of numerology cycles. And it's all on you if they're rotten apples or not rotten apples. Maybe there's a couple of rotten, maybe there's some shining, glistening ones. Maybe there's a golden apple. Maybe there's no golden apples. Maybe things are falling apart in your personal 8-year because it wasn't the direction you needed to go in and you didn't get the nudge. Maybe it's X, Y, and Z, a million different scenarios. But the personal 8 work is the rewards for the hard work, the harvest for everything that you have been working for. It is a year of abundance. It is projects coming to fruition. It is great for business. It is when my personal 8-year, my most recent one, which was 5 years ago. I'm in a 3, so go back 3. Yes, 5 years ago. My personal 8-year, 5 years ago, which is my most recent personal 8-year, is when I started being booked up 6 months in advance for sessions. Now I'm nearly a year. So I had worked from 1 to 8 to get to that point, and then all of a sudden the benefits came. My husband usually gets pay rises in a personal 8-year because of all of his hard work. So, of course, there's a million other stories we can use, but I'm only using the 2 people I'm talking about here around experience and knowledge around personal connection, right? So the personal 8-year, 8 is a number of abundance and money and wealth. It's a very auspicious year. So it's great for material gains. You just think of that apple tree, you've created that. It's now fruit. Share, this is the personal 8 is around abundance, sharing, giving, being kind, sharing the rewards. Yeah. It is a year to be grateful. It's a year of power and wealth. A great year to move forward even in your business, look at the projects that are happening. And then of course we move into that personal 9-year. The personal 8, sorry, I just want to say also confidence. You can still be kicking goals. Yeah, it's not just that, everything's harvested now. Of course, you can still be kicking goals, like everything's really like accelerating for you in a personal 8 year. I talk about like just putting my hands out wide and saying yes. You know, it's like getting the benefits for all of your hard work. Then the personal 9 year comes, and it is the end of this cycle for you. So, what do you need to let go of? What's not working for you in your life on any level? What are you holding on to that doesn't align with your goals, your sense of what you want for the next 9 year cycle? Close chapters, clean house, clean energetic debris, karmic templates, clean mental patterns. You know, this is a time of releasing old habits. It's a time of reflection. You know, journal, look at how far you've come in the past 9 years. Be proud. Yeah, get excited about the new cycle that you're about to enter the year after you finish your personal 9 year. This is a great time of remembering that you don't want to take old baggage into this new cycle. It's about closing the book on that. Of course, whatever is flourishing, you know, that continues. You know, these good habits, consistency continues. But what's not working, let go of it. You know, let go of it. Clean out your energetic closet, your physical closet, your metaphorical closet, your emotional closet, your mental closet. Clean everything out. Purge, release, wipe clear the karmic slate to begin again in your personal 1 year. So it's a pretty cool little system to work with, and I've wanted to share it for so long. And I mean, I have during a million different things, but I hope that that has given you a little bit of insight to what personal cycle you're in, and how to work with that personal cycle, and little key words that you can take with you around your personal years, just so that you've got that under your belt, you know, so you know that, yeah, so that you can be supported. And that's what I love it for. It's about being supported, not pushing against the grain, or, you know, and if this doesn't align with you, let it go. Don't be caught up in it. This is what I've been living for over 20 years. If this doesn't align with you, move right along. Go and live happily ever after somewhere else. You know, for me, life is too short to be, you know, oh, something doesn't line up, so I need to have a big blah blah. Just move along. Like if this is not the way you work with numerology, all good. You know, happy life, you know, all good. This is what's worked for me for over 20 years, and I love to share this to give people tools to be aware. And again, we're not weighed down or inhibited by, oh, because I'm in a 5, I can't do this, or because I'm in a 4, I can't do this. It's not about that. It's just that sometimes when you're trying to square peg round hole, it's like, oh, it worked so much better the next year. And it's like, yeah, because that was the year that you were being supported in that. So it's not stop and don't do anything in a year. Like I said, every single day is a brand new year. You know, life is so fragile and so precious. Enjoy your life. Enjoy every single day. Make every single day count. But use these incredible energetic systems to help navigate and to give you that empowerment and awareness around, well, I'm in this year, so this is going to be really good to accelerate X, Y, and Z, and utilize that. It's like when you're running with the wind on your back. You know, that's how you can work with these sorts of tools and systems, you know, is like instead of doing a 7 year and trying to try and be a 6 year or a 4 year running against the wind and into the wind, I'm running with the wind because I'm in alignment. I'm in flow, darling. So thank you so much for being here on my channel. If you have any comments or, you know, want to share what personal year you're in, of course, just drop that into the box below. Sending you all so much love, and enjoy this very big collective 7 year. And like I said, go and check out my 2023 astrology panel, which is right here on my YouTube channel. There's like 10 videos of lots of astrology and the numerology with Sarah Yip. And don't forget the Chinese astrology, because we're in the year of the rabbit. And I just have to say, you know, that call's really good as well. But again, you might be listening to this in 6 years, and who knows what's going to be happening. Pluto is moving into Aquarius right now. So very interesting times, but I hope that that has given you some great seeds to work with, some great awareness, and enjoy whatever personal year you're in. And I will continue to be talking because I'm in a personal 3. Mwah. Lots of love. Bye.